that comment cracks me up.
Yeah. Easy, people. Welcome back to the channel. We are the South Stand. This is the Boys in Blue, your weekly dose of Manchester City news. We are missing a few members who are going to be here in a short while. But big up to my mate Nobbins. Are you okay, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, just eating my kiwi and carrots.
Kiwi and carrots. You do have some, very exotic taste.
Carrots.
Trying to be a healthy boy.
Yeah, kiwi and carrots is healthy. I'm good. Hay fever killing the hell out of me, but apart from that, I'm good. Hay fever and Morgan Gibbs-White talk. Two things that fucking is doing my head in the last week.
And Tone, how are you, my friend?
Really good, Steve. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Fresh trim, Tone.
Sorry?
Short back and sides, fresh trim.
Yeah, I had a bit of haircut, shaved. Other half said you look like something from Planet of the Apes. So yeah, shave. Yeah.
Shout out to everyone for the comments last week on how to the 100, the man versus 100 or whatever it was. There's a lot of comments on it.
Yeah, sick of talking about that. Big shout out to the sponsors, Bowen Pies. You know what I mean? Home of the chicken balti pie. If you want that feeling of the South Stand in your living room, you know what it is. Get on the QR code, use the code Big Steve MCFC for 5% off, and get them pies in. Anyway, people, it's been a busy start to the week. It's been bank holiday weekend. Everyone's had a break. Everyone's feeling refreshed. Manchester City beat Wolves. The protest went off okay. I think the club got a message that, these people were not going away. You know what I mean? That was fantastic. We got the 3 points. The top 4 race is looking a bit of a madness. There's some results gone for us, some not gone for us. I just want to touch on the little top 4 race, just as starters. Just pass it around the panel. I think, lads, we're looking in good shape, aren't we? We can't be moaning. I think we're happy at where we are, and I think maybe one more win would secure that for us with everybody playing each other. What do you think, Nobbins?
Yeah, definitely. The results have been really favourable for us recently. I know Chelsea beat Liverpool and whatnot, but yeah, Forest drawing, that was fantastic. Newcastle drawing as well against Brighton, was it again? That's absolutely fantastic. As you say, we play Southampton next, and that should hopefully be a nice, easy win. That takes us to how many points? That's 67 points. And yeah, as you say, Newcastle play Chelsea, and Newcastle also play Arsenal as well. They've got really tricky fixtures. So yeah, I would fully expect City to do the business and to get top 5 football. Now there is even a possibility that we can finish second, and I don't think that. Well, I certainly wasn't saying that. A few weeks ago it was like, I think I did a tweet going, wow, it could be 3rd. It could easily just be 7th as well. Whereas we're now exploring the possibility of there's actually a world where if Newcastle do go away to Arsenal and do something, then yeah, we could actually finish ahead of Arsenal, which is an insane thing to think about. So it's obviously not mathematically assured, but looking at our fixtures, the fixtures of everyone else, it's looking pretty good. It's looking far healthier than it was, this time a month or so ago.
You got to agree with that, Tone, as well. I think it could have gone either way. This last month could have been one where we could have find ourselves languishing out of the top 5, but they've turned it around, the lads, and they've made a great 3 victories. Everton away, Villa at home, Wolves at home. Sets us up nicely for Southampton this weekend. But what do you think? One more win and we're in there?
Yeah, I'll probably say just a couple, just to cement it. But there is a possibility we could get top 5 wrapped up this weekend if results go our way. I think if we beat Saints on Saturday, I think the problem is Forest have got Leicester, so it's probably a write-off anyway. But I think if they draw and who's the other ones down there, Villa maybe, slip up as well, then there's a chance we could have it wrapped up or pretty much wrapped up on goal difference because ours is far superior. But we should do it now. I'd be amazed. You look at the 3 fixtures, Saints away, Bournemouth home, Fulham away. Fulham and Bournemouth are 2 good teams, but you couldn't really ask for too much nicer than that in the last 3 games because Fulham and Bournemouth are Well, they've still got European football, I guess, to aim for, so they might have something to fight for. But there's still good fixtures on paper. So, and Saints away is obviously the one everybody would want at the moment. So yeah, we're in a really, really good spot. City have stepped it up at just the right time, and the results are needed. Like we all thought they would. I think we said that a couple of weeks ago. The performance is maybe not great, but the results are there, and we look like we're going to be in, which is brilliant, really good.
Just asking a question. Obviously, Erling Haaland is looking like he's fit now. Does he go straight back in the team against Southampton at weekend, or is Pep going to sort of continue what he's doing, which is working, and just bring him back gradually? You know, does he need to get up to speed for the cup final, or is it not assured that he starts that cup final?
What games do we have before the cup final? Obviously
Just
Southampton,
Saints. That's it.
Yeah. So all right. So it's Saints, then Palace, then Bournemouth. Is it? Oh, I didn't realise that. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't start him against Southampton, but I definitely give him like 30 to 40 minutes, something like that. Bring him on in the second half. Yeah. Hopefully we don't need him to score goals against Southampton. But even if we're not going to start him against Palace in the cup final, and I think we should start him. I don't want that to be his first action, for City following his injury. I want to get some sharpness back in his legs. I think that would probably make the most sense, whether he starts that final or not. Even
after beating Palace 5-2 without him, and the way we played at the Etihad, the way we knocked the ball about and ran rings around them, really. I think if we bring Erling in, does that play into their hands? Is he easier to mark for them? With the two big centre backs, I feel like when we had it on the ground, knocking it around, I didn't think Palace liked that at all. I feel like when we played Palace earlier in the season at Selhurst, I know we was different, but I just feel like it could change the dynamic, and I think it gives an excuse for the fans as well to get on a few people cases if we bring him in and it don't quite go to plan. I mean, he's world class, but we've seen it so many times where we just don't play to his strengths. You know what I mean? And he spends most of the game, isolated. I just don't know if Pep, with his mad thinking, is going to bring him in straight away. And whether, listen, we'd all love Erling and Erling Haaland to come off the bench every week. It's not like it's the end of the world, but maybe he gets 30, 40 minutes at Southampton. And like you say, I don't be surprised if he don't start the cup final for me.
Yeah, I don't think that's a wrong answer, to be fair. I just think that if you've got a player that good and of that quality, if he's available, you start him in a big game. That's just the way I see it. I think for me, I don't want to overthink it and overcomplicate it. He's our best forward option. He's our best source of goals and shooting. I think just start your best players and trust them to deliver. That's how I would see it. But I can understand the other side.
Yeah, I'm with Nobbins. Yeah, sorry.
Like one thing I am interested to see is, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Doku in recent weeks seemed to, and I believe apparently he said after the game that he's been working on it in training, but Doku has started looking up and actually playing passes, not just only not just spamming them. He's actually playing passes to people. It's making me think, Doku Haaland, could that start to work now?
Well, we've seen it.
You do play Haaland. Yeah.
We've seen it. I think we've seen it one game. Did you come back? He was in Bratislava.
Yeah, Bratislava. Me and you
were Bratislava. Haaland
was
fuming all game and throwing his arms about off the camera and tantruming because Savinho and that wasn't getting their head up early enough to look for him. So I get the frustration. I mean, Doku last few weeks, I think, it's been sensational. Even just coming off the bench, he's given us that little thing. And I feel like, if you've got if you got every player in a room at the end of the season and said, look, this is what you need to work on, I think we all agree that it's the final decision making from Jeremy and Savinho that lacks. I think we do great work off the ball, on the ball, around the box, but just finding that killer pass has been eluding him. But Jeremy seems to have started to maybe twig it. I mean, another player I wanted to mention, Echeverri. Against Wolves, I was at the blue carpet bit. I was chatting to somebody when the players got off, and he got off the coach with the team. I think it's the second time he's done that, but wasn't in the squad. I think Pep's he's training with the first team. He's got him mixing with the players regular. He's got the match day feel. It really looks like Pep's sort of wrapping this kid in cotton wool. He's priming him. He's having him in around the dressing room on the match day squads. He's getting him ready for it. Southampton away, bottom of the league, relegated team. Is this the perfect time, to bring him in?
It probably. Sorry, Nobbins.
No. After you, matey.
I was just going to say, thank you. I was just going to say that it is, I guess, yes. The problem is, Steve, is it's where or who comes out the squad, because players are just starting to come back. You got Akanji coming back. I think Ake Stones are due back shortly in training, and you're starting to get these players. Rodri, of course, is now training. There's talk he might make the FA Cup final squad. So there's already one or two players starting to miss out in the squad, and people are like, and now a couple more come back, and then another. So if he comes in, it's who misses out. And I'm just looking down the squad list now. Well, it's just gone off my bloody screen. But we played Friday, didn't we? At Wolves. And the squad is quite strong, considering we do still have players out. And if you're looking at players that are going to miss out off that bench, I mean, our bench had Haaland, Savinho, Grealish, Foden, Nico G and Akanji on it. Just some of the names on that bench. And then if you're bringing Echeverri in, it's who then misses out. But I see what you're saying. If there is a game to bring him in, it is Saints. But I would agree with that, but I don't see it happening.
I mean, it could, to be fair, if we get the job done by, I think if we win the next two games, there's a good chance we really could be going into Fulham mathematically home and dry. I have a feeling that maybe, Steve, what you said there, that he's bringing him around the players. He wants him to feel like he is part of the squad and not that probably... I don't believe he is going out on loan, by the way. I really, really don't.
No, I think that anyway. I think,
yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
And I just feel like probably Pep has made a decision. Well, Pep and probably Viana potentially as well have made a decision. Not this season. This season's about you settling, about you being part of the squad and feeling integrated into the club. Not just integrated into the team, but literally into the club, the city, the whole lot. But without him kind of having to second guess, well, does that mean I might be loaned out? And he wants him to feel, no. I want you to get comfortable with all the players because next season you're going to be part of this. But and I really do think Club World Cup we'll see a lot of him. I think the Club World Cup is where we'll see loads of Echeverri. And we'll probably need him because we'll need some fresh players. We're going to be playing against some teams that are going to be a lot fresher. You know, the South American teams, I believe, hasn't their season quite recently started? And it's going to be midway through their season or something. Whereas with us, it's the end of our season. So I think we will be needing. But it would be nice to see him last game of the season, maybe. But I just don't think we'll see him this season for me.
I don't know. I feel like he's going to appear somewhere. I just think no point in having him around the squad if you're not preparing him for something. But I think he's got a big part to play in the World Club Cup.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a few players, maybe a couple of the youth players as well, that might get a call up to that. But that's got to be a competition City going to win, so they're going to take it serious.
Yeah.
Just talking on the transfer front, I know people are getting the knickers in a twist over Morgan Gibbs-White and things like that. I mean, people need to relax. At the end of the day, if Pep Guardiola, the greatest manager on the planet, decides that he wants Morgan Gibbs-White, then fucking Hakeem, who's sat in his basement, really, your opinion don't matter, mate, to be honest, whether you want him or not, because, to be honest, he's going to sign him. So if he sees a player, he might... We all see Morgan Gibbs-White as a 10 at Forest. Pep might see him as a fucking right back. Pep might see him as a DM. We don't know. You know what I mean? We're just out there. At the end of the day, we can't slate someone before he's even signed, because we signed Nathan Ake and everyone got on his back. Why are we signing Nathan Ake? We signed Akanji 14 million and everybody frowned on it and said, what we doing? We're going backwards. You know, and at the end of the day, you've got to trust the manager. I know the main target is Wirtz. And I know people are getting the knickers in a twist over Wirtz, but we'll just speak on Morgan this time round. I mean, it's a little bit harsh for fans to just dismiss him straight away because he is a good player, you know what I mean? And I feel like I said it the other night on the Big Six, if you've got Rodri in a 6, Morgan Gibbs-White in an 8, and a playmaker in the 10, then there's a lot of energy there, because at the minute we're lacking energy. Sometimes we see City trying to press at the minute. You've got Kovacic, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne trying to press. They're probably a yard off the press, and you can see Poor teams, we press them and we get the ball back. A good team bops us off the park. So I feel like Pep's got to inject this bit of energy in there, which Morgan Gibbs-White gives us. But I think it's unfair for some City fans just to be online and just dismiss him like he's a piece of shit when, you know, he's not shit. He's a decent player. Is he not? Is he the household name that everybody craves? Probably not. But they are still in for Wirtz. So I know that for a fact. I just made a text there to somebody I'm not going to name who I trust 1,000,000% and said 100% in for him. It's not over yet. So City are pushing for it. So, but I mean, are we being a bit harsh on Morgan Gibbs-White? Martin, you start us off with that.
No, I did my bit this morning and I got killed for it. And then I did a 4-hour space on it. No, I'm not doing it. Because everyone just says I'm glazing him now. So I'm just, not doing it.
We don't do glazing on here. We just do opinions. And we value your opinion, Martin.
Go on, Martin.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to.
Go on, Martin.
I think he's a good player. I do. And, you know, as an 8, not as a 10. There's a massive difference with it.
Yeah, he's not a 10 for me. I mean, at Forest, he might do that, but he's not coming in Manchester City Football Club, no disrespect, and being a number 10 to provide what Kevin De Bruyne or try and get near them. He can't do that for me. I believe he is an 8.
And I believe that this is not, they've not just picked his name up. Is that Pep's liked him last summer? It's just the way it is. You know, for me, I'm a bit, like I said earlier on, everyone's getting the knickers in a twist over money.
Listen, if you've got an account called MCFC OK with a hashtag bun Morgan Gibbs-White, you sound like a right fucking bellend, mate. So don't be telling us about opinions, because what the fuck's that about? Bun. What does bun mean?
That's what I mean. People are changing the name.
These are the people that drive me.
Changing the name to I hate Morgan Gibbs-White.
I think that's probably, Martin, like that's what you said earlier. I think the frustration is that you can say Steve's entitled to his opinion, I'm entitled to my opinion, Martin's entitled to his opinion, the comments are entitled to their opinion. When you're changing your name to Bun,
you know, if Pep's going to look at his account and go, "Oh, MCFC OK said hashtag Bun Morgan Gibbs-White," so I'm not signing him now because he obviously.
Look, my whole thing is, Martin and I spoke about this earlier. Is I know we all know we're going to get him right now. Is he the ideal 8 that I want? No, he probably isn't. Right. I watched last night hoping I was going to see him and I was going to be able to go, right, do you know what? I've seen this, but unfortunately, he's playing in the 10 role at Nottingham Forest. So I can't judge him on last night either because he's not playing in the 8 role. My biggest worry at the moment is the fee that we pay for him and the pressure that the fee and the fan base are going to put on him. And that's my worry now because I can't judge him in the 8 role because I haven't seen it. So I really can't judge it. But I just worry that if he comes in and the fee is something like 80 million, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him, especially when the fan base has already turned on him.
In the comments, and I love this, I love opinions. The opinions are great. And I had a bit of a to and fro. I know you responded, and it's opinions. But the guy was going, I think we should get Wirtz, Rodrigo, and Bruno.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's
that's 500 million. 500 million fees.
And the wage bill.
I saw that. I saw someone listing the players we should get instead of Morgan Gibbs-White, and I didn't even respond to it because it was more FIFA. Honestly,
that is FIFA. That is FIFA. 3 players at 100 million apiece. I'd love it. I'd love Valverde. I'd love Barella. I'd love Ella.
Yeah.
But then I put my PS5 controller down and come back into the real world.
Yeah, there is still a chance that Gibbs-White doesn't move, and that's if Forest piss around with the price tag, which could be if Forest make the Champ League, that deal then becomes more difficult. And if they're in the Europa, a bit easier because then it's but Forest will want their best player for the Champ League if they make it. Yeah. And look, Forest have. Through the media, I'm not sure it's accurate, but they've said 100 mil. Well, City aren't paying 100 mil. It's not happening, no matter how much they want him. I know people say Grealish, but there is still a chance it won't happen. We'll just have to see what happens with Forest. But I like the move, yeah. I'm for it.
Do you think, right, I was thinking this earlier on. So I do think there is, right, Pep does want Morgan Gibbs-White by the sounds of it, right? But also there is potential that part of it is because we do have to hit the quota, right? And I'm not saying it's the sole reason. So anyone that says, right, so we're buying this player just to hit the quota. No, we're not buying this player just to hit the quota. But if we weren't to get Wirtz, right, would there then be the possibility that we looked at a different 10 and that then meant that we looked at a different 8? As an example, let me just say, we went and got Eze because then he hits the English quota. And then we thought, well, in that case, now we don't need to hit the quota with our 8. So we might go and look at a Reinders or something as an example, as a different option. And that could be something we do. Just a thought that. Well, that's the Wirtz thing. Will the Wirtz thing change everything else? Because if you imagine, if Wirtz is going to be, if we were to be in for Wirtz and we're going to be spending 130 million, then it comes out you're not getting Wirtz. Do we then go, hold on, well, we need to look at our whole transfer strategy again because that budget can be used elsewhere?
No, we not changed it because me and Tone did this earlier on a space. So when we looked at the foreign players we've got, and like people have said, you've got Etcheverry and everything else. If we had Cambiasso, and if we go off to the links, Cambiasso, the fullback at Wolves, Wirtz and Reinders, you are going to have to sell 4 to 5 foreign players, not homegrown, foreign. I think Nobbins and LB went through this, didn't you, a few weeks back? We've not got bags and bags of room on the foreign. It's not the homegrown, it's the foreign. We're at 16 now.
And is there a rule? Sorry, is there a ruling on the number?
Yeah, you can only have 17.
17, so we need to bring
that's valid as well.
This is where people aren't looking, and
you really are becoming kind of good with the finances, good with the rules, aren't you, over the recent weeks?
I've learned off Nobbins. I've learned off Nobbins.
The super chat for you, though, Martin. Couldn't help but notice that Martin didn't mention Pedri in that list. This is the best show in the city space. Love the panel. Appreciate it. But yeah, he's calling you out again for not mentioning Pedri.
No, Spartacus does this. He's got a Pedri poster on his wall. He's got Pedri duvets, Pedri pillows. He's Pedri everything. Pedri mad.
I don't know. Let's talk on Wirtz, though. Steve, so you said you've spoken.
I've been told today of someone that is. Well, I knew about Haaland before anyone knew about Haaland, and I didn't put it out there because everyone started talking shit. I did it on City Extra at time when we messaged his dad, and we're in for him 100%. They want him. They feel like they're going to be confident in getting him. And I was told that the news that come out of Build today was a bit unusual because nothing's set in stone. I think City want him big time, and I think they're confident of getting him. So I wouldn't listen to it. I feel like, these papers, some of them are Bayern Munich pro papers and stuff like that, are going to put propaganda out there to try and throw everyone off the scent. But all you need to know is that Manchester City are in for him. They want him, and they will offer him the best deal. And you've got to think the Kevin De Bruyne decision has not been made lightly, and it's not been made as a knee-jerk reaction. So to think that they're just going to let Kevin walk out the door and then we're going to end up with Calvin Phillips, Kovacic and Rodri hobbling about in midfield in the World Club Cup seems a little bit mad to me. But, stranger things have happened. We've had worse in midfield, Fitzroy Simpson, Jed Brannan, but that's for another show.
Steve, you said you were at Ellen Road today. You said you were at Ellen Road today. Any news on Calvin Phillips?
No, but the Leeds fans are buzzing over there at Ellen Road today. They were flying past, all beeping their horns, and then I think they're having a party there tonight for the summer. Seeing all these champions banners and stuff getting put inside this place. So fair play to Leeds.
Just for research. Jed Brannan's goal at Nottingham Forest in 1998. Go and check it out. He scores back. It's a 45-yard lob that he just puts over the top. Class.
He was terrible, though. Jed Brannan. He was terrible.
No, but have you looked into the whole Wirtz thing yet? Do you think it's kind of all a bit of nothing, really, just clickbait ultimately?
Oh yeah, the story that came out today. Yeah, I gave it 30 seconds of my time and then I moved on. To be honest with you, I don't think there's anything in it. I don't think it changes anything. I don't think anything's been confirmed. You had City fans on Twitter, posting that classic Haaland new tweets that the same organization did, where they said Haaland's definitely going to Madrid. I don't think the landscape has changed at all. We just have to wait and see.
I think it's just, to me as well, it's a bit, the way that Bayern usually do business would not be a leaked story like that, where pretty much, and I don't know, I feel like if it was real news, I feel like it would be a lot bigger than this, right? It wouldn't just be, the tweet. There'd be a lot more than this. And also, I don't get why, because Leverkusen have come out and said they know nothing about it, right? But apparently Leverkusen's employee, Alonso, is the one that's been informed about it. It's like, so hold on. So he's decided to just go and tell his manager, and then his manager's decided to not bother mentioning it to the club. Doesn't really add up.
Rotten in the state of Leverkusen.
Yeah.
But also the stuff we were told recently, or a month or two ago, was that his family had said he'll decide after the season. Well, the season's not over. So I'm ignoring all this stuff, even on the podcast, sorry, little plug, and all the other shows that I'm on. I don't really talk about Wirtz because we're not going to know, I don't think, until the summer. And people keep saying Bayern, Real, City. He might stay another year and sign with some obscene release clause. We just don't know. But the builder compared to the Sun here, similar sort of thing.
Someone else said that.
It's waffle. Yeah.
What about the Rodrigo links? I mean, we have been linked with Rodrigo for a while, on and off, and it does look like Madrid might be willing to let him go. We're looking quite stacked with City, you know what I mean, and players like that. Surely, if we were going for Rodrigo, that'd mean the end of somebody out there, someone wide, and Jack Grealish future. I mean, I think everyone's just gone a bit flat with it and just going to accept what the summer brings. We've backed Jack to the hilt, but consistently Pep's not playing him, doesn't fancy him. We're seeing little flashes of him. And, I feel, is it time for Jack to move on now? Do you think City are just going to, clear the decks and let him go?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think they'll take a hit and Grealish will go. I'm fairly sure Grealish will go. Got a funny feeling it'll be North London. I think that's where he'll end up. On Rodrigo there, there's reports that City, and from reliable places, that City want to bring the wage bill down. Signing Rodrigo won't do that. I'd love him to come to City. It's going to be crazy money in wage. But
Pep's wages off the bill is going to be a big chunk, obviously, because I feel like some players we can probably get in for 150, 180 grand a week, whereas Kev's on big dough. But Grealish has got to be on big money as well. You know what I mean? Because he was signed for a big price.
He's on about 300, I think he is.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a big clear out. And what the most worrying thing is, we've literally got no time to relax because we're straight back into the World Club Cup, which is genuinely going to be our pre-season. So I think City will be scrambling to get everything tied up relatively. As soon as the season finishes, I think they're going to want to pull the trigger on a few players. Because these new players coming in, if I was signing for Man City, what are playing this in the World Club Cup? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually saw something earlier about Trent as well. That apparently I saw something earlier where obviously Trent going Real Madrid are in the Club World Cup, and that Liverpool being urged to not allow him to go and join them yet or something. But they ain't going to be able to keep him, are they, past his thing? But
depends when his contract runs out, innit? His contract runs out June the 1st, and he'll have to wait, but I don't know when his contract runs out.
Sorry, Nobbins.
I was just going to say that, just on like Grealish, it's again, big fan of Jack, but it is time to go. You can't be one of our highest earners and not be like a nailed-on starter. I was just doing we are going to have to take it. I was just doing the maths. If we sold him for a fee of, £35 million, then we would technically be making a profit on his book value on the accounts, which isn't terrible. So if we can get a figure of around that much, then from an accounting perspective, it's actually not the worst thing in the world. So again, if we sell from 35 million, we've actually technically made a profit there. I just wanted to get that nerdy maths out there.
I can't find the comment. Someone mentioned it, and it was something that I saw the other day. Suggestions of a Grealish-Maddison swap deal. Would any of you like? No, I'm the same. Not for me.
I'd rather Gibbs-White than Maddison. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I would, I would.
I think. Do you know what? In the 8 role, not in the 10 role, but in the 8 role, yeah, I would. You know, I'd rather. I would. Yeah.
There's a very distinctive lack of number 10s around the world. When we're looking at the Wirtz deal, if that doesn't happen, then I don't know where we go from that. There's nobody stands out realistically where you think, let's go and get him. He can pull the strings for us in the middle of the park. I don't know about you guys, but who'd be your next target if the Wirtz deal went to replace Kevin De Bruyne?
I mean, depending as value for money, it's a risk. I know it's a risk from what people are saying, but
can I throw a mad one out?
I like that Churki. I'd love to stop him from going to fucking them lot over there. I'd do it just to stop him going to fucking United, to be honest with you.
I know this is going to sound crazy, and you're all going to... You mentioned him earlier at Chvera. Still got Phil Foden, and you've got Mamouche.
Can I just say something? On LB's show earlier, right? LB did a poll, and there was about 700 in there. It was by two. It was, I think, one of them, I think, was Churki. One of them was get 2 8s and don't get a 10 this window. Just get 2 8s. And then the other one was Echeverri, Foden, Bob, Marmouche, right? And just stick with them as a 10. And it was quite refreshing to see that actually the highest percentage was to, if we don't get Wirtz, was to stick with Foden, Echeverri, Bob and Marmouche, which kind of was good because it shows no matter what we say, we are still backing our own, which is a good thing. But it surprised me a little bit. But I quite like the idea of if we don't get a 10, we don't force it, we go and get 2 quality 8s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could definitely work. There is no sort of like hard set rule that you must have a high volume passer in your midfield, otherwise you're going to be rubbish as a side. You know, we did, as important as De Bruyne has been for us, I know it was a different side, but you know, we did win the 18-19 title without De Bruyne for the vast majority of it, as an example. So it's not necessarily a requirement that we have to absolutely get this sort of player, because again, that midfield worked with, you know, like I know David Silva wasn't necessarily a 10 that year, and you know, like Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, etc., and Fernandinho. It's not necessarily like the end of the world if we don't get someone in. And that's a good point, actually. Don't panic. I would rather get no one than someone who is someone who we have literally just signed for the sake of signing them, just to get like a body through the doors. I think that would be an error. So if it's a case of like, we don't, if Wirtz is the idea, we don't get Wirtz, do you sign someone who's like maybe not good enough, but you just get them for the sake of it, then that would be an issue in my view. Yeah.
I think the thing is that if you look at our midfield, and I'm just putting 8s and 10s in there, then we've got De Bruyne, we've got Bernardo, we've got Kovacic, we've got Gundogan, right? So there's 4 players. 3 of them probably you would say are 8s, one of them's a 10. In the next year, we need to probably replace all 4, right? So if we were to replace 2 of the 8s this transfer window, and not even replace, if we were to get 2 new 8s in this transfer window and we don't get a 10, well, at least we're still rebuilding, right? And I see people keep mentioning Tonali. I'd love Tonali. I think Tonali would be unbelievable, but I just can't see it happening. Really can't see us getting him.
You forget Newcastle players because if they make the Champions League, why are Newcastle going to sell? That gives the wrong message to the fans because they are on the up and up and up, and they're just going to get better. Bruno G's already said he's not going anywhere, so Tonali's quality, but Xavi Simons is one we've been linked with before. That might be one to throw in.
What do you lot think of him?
I think he's a good player, but I think he feels like he's been around for years, but he's not. He's still quite young, you know what I mean? Good player, technically good player.
You know, someone keeps mentioning Bruno Fernandes. Nah, not for us.
No.
Fucking hell. I keep seeing that. I keep seeing Bruno's name pop up. Yeah, I'm not sure on Simmons. I've been told that Simmons has had a really good season, though. I've been told he has had a really good season, but he's just never really stood out to me.
But you're not going to get Simmons cheap.
No.
What about Gula, is it Gula at Real Madrid? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Gula's a good player, isn't he? But I don't think they want to sell him. But I don't know. He's a good player. He is a good player.
It's just if Wirtz follows Alonso, if he does to Real Madrid, Real Madrid are stacked. They've got to get rid of people. I know there could be something there.
I think there, though, with what we're hearing today is you don't want Real Madrid or City. So I think if that's a load of bollocks, I think we still get Wirtz.
Yeah.
Personally.
Eze at Palace as well.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Eze. I mean, I like Eze, but I don't know if he's our level. I mean, it's all right doing it at Palace, but I don't know. We had this discussion last night on the Big Six. I don't think he's quite there. I don't think Pep will take him. There's a reason why people haven't took Eze for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He shows little bursts of it, but I don't know. I think it's so hard because the player we're all judging these players against is Kevin De Bruyne. It's just natural in our head that we're going to compare him to him, and I feel like it's just we're never going to find it. You know what I mean?
Does anyone think that there might? Because I've seen one or two people mention it. Does anyone? Again, I would say even if we weren't being ruled out of the Wirtz thing, but let's say it adds a bit more spice to it, that if we weren't to get Wirtz and Wirtz was our main target, again, do we think there's any chance that maybe we focus on getting 2 8s and City? Could you see a world where City turn around and offer offer KDB extension?
No.
I don't see it.
That ship sailed, I think.
You've got a farewell game next week. You didn't point that on.
Yeah, I hear it. We did do it with Gundo, didn't we? We offered him, I think, a 1 year. We turned around and actually did offer him, but no, you're right. I think it'd be too much. It's been too big to turn around and go back on, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's different to Gundo because there wasn't really a formal announcement as such as there has been with Kev. It also sends the wrong message. It looks like you're indecisive and you're thinking, second guessing, and that's not going to look good on Viana.
Panic stations at that point.
Yeah, someone just mentioned it in the comments. What's the opinion on Nico Gonzalez? Because when he came in, he was a breath of fresh air, everything we needed, and then at the minute he's not been getting a game. Is that just a case of Pep slowly bringing him in and doing what he did with Rodri that first season, letting him watch and learn? Or is it a case of he doesn't really fancy him? You know what I mean? I've heard people say both, but I seem to think it's a little bit about what he did with Rodri, come in, learn. And I feel like when Rodri's back next season, Nico can only get better watching and playing with Rodri, you know what I mean? But what do you guys reckon of Gonzalez?
He definitely fancies him. I think this idea that he's hardly played, that's been, for me, massively blown out of proportion. Yes, he hasn't played the last couple of games, but if you like, LB and I looked at it together, it's only really the last couple of games where he hasn't played. He started like every single other game that's been available. Yes, he didn't play the last couple league games, but he started all the ones before that. So I don't even think there's like an issue if he's not playing enough. Like he is. It's just he just didn't happen to play the last couple of games, and Pep came out and gave a reason why. I can't remember what it was exactly. But no, Nico will be fine. He's a very good player. People also need to remember that, like Kovacic, he's not playing a position that's his. He is not a defensive midfielder. He did not play as a defensive midfielder for Porto. He had a proper defensive midfielder alongside him. So I think that people have decided who didn't watch Porto, maybe didn't do the research. They've decided that we've brought in Nico to be like a pure Rodri player, but that's not his game at all. He's closer, as I say, when he played for Porto, he was far closer to being an 8 than a 6. So there's also that to bear in mind. So if people haven't been blown away by his performances, I would say that he's in a totally different league. Portuguese league is far less intense than the Premier League. So, and he's done that mid-season. I think he's actually played well as well in the games he has played. There's that as well. So it's a totally different league. He's also young. He's 23, and this is quite, this is like an old man's position that he's being asked to play, if that makes any sense. And he's incredibly young, as I say, 23 years old, and it's a position that isn't his. So I actually think that he's been really well. He's been doing really well so far. And when you also consider that the midfield has been the biggest issue for City this season, it's broken beyond repair, and he's come in and in this impossible to win situation where, as I say, the midfield is like it's crumbling all around him. So I actually think that he's actually doing very well, to be honest with you. I think people need to reel in the idea that, oh, why have we signed Nico G? It was a flop. I think he's impressed and he's played a lot of football. And again, the context for me. I like him a lot.
When you look at it as well, I think it was somebody just said, it might have been Joel that just said this in the comments, that if you actually look at the players, right, Pep doesn't overly like doing business in the January window, right? Because he's a system-based manager, and getting a player to come in, land, pick up the system and hit the ground running is not ideal. Also, Pep has been saying, even I think if you go back to November, December, Pep kept saying, when they were talking about transfers, I just want my injured players back, right? He said it. He just wants his injured players back. Now, if you look at, Kuzanov came in, we still had injuries. He got some game time, right? Marmoush is playing a lot at the moment. Why? Because Haaland is injured. So if you actually look at the players that we've bought, it is a pattern. We've got them in. Obviously, we've got them in early so that when it gets to next season, they've already had 6 months around the team. So I actually agree with you, Nobbins. And Gonzalez, when he has played, has done a job. But I don't think Pep ever bought him thinking, right, he's coming in to play every single game in the 6 role. Because like you said, he's not a 6.
Yeah. Time will tell, and time will prove that he will be worth the money because he is a good player. We do need to be patient. We need to accept again that we're not going to see the best version of Nico until Rodri comes back into the side. If we signed, sorry, go on.
No, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, if we signed like, maybe it's not a good example. I was going to say, like, if we signed Gundogan and we immediately went, right, mate, you're playing the 6, and that's the end of it. We'd have all sacked him off immediately. I know it doesn't work because he actually got injured, but you know what I mean? We just sacked him off and gone, he's not good enough, this guy. It's just, we need to understand that context of he's being asked to do a job that isn't his and a position that isn't his, and I think he's doing it quite well.
Yeah. Do you think the Kuzanov situation, do you think Pep took him out of the limelight? Because he was getting a hell of a... I mean, I know because he's Uzbekistan and they go mental for him, but I mean, he was getting a lot of attention on him, focused on him. They were scrutinising him more than a lot of the players. I mean, I seen Sky have that ridiculous 5-minute fucking stat or something
embarrassing,
and stuff like that. And I thought whether Pep just thought, oh, you know what, he's a quiet lad. He's come in, he's had a baptism of fire. We're doing all right. He can just sit here now and just, like you say, get better. I think he's prepping a lot of these players for next season. I mean, Vita Reyes, the centre back, he never put a foot wrong for me when he's come in, and he's looked good on the ball and comfortable. And people forget about it. These are players that I think next season, with a lot of training and pre-season under the belt, these players are going to hit the ground running. And I just think Pep I think he's managing a lot of them quite well. You know what I mean? I don't think it's... Everyone automatically assumes if a player's not playing, it's because Pep doesn't like him or I don't fancy him. But we've seen it before, like you say, with Rodri and that. Sometimes they need a bit of time to bed in and get sorted out.
There was a season. There was a season when Bernardo Silva hardly played for us, right? And now everyone will say, "Oh, he's undroppable. Pep doesn't drop him. It's like his son, his favourite." There was a whole season. I think it was Bernardo Silva's second season where he got very limited game time. So I think you're right. I think sometimes, and someone made a good comment there about Cover. Cover's been really good since he's come back.
I think he's down system as well. I think he's down to the system because he's come across the system where he's got Nico O'Reilly and he's got Nunez. This is why Doku and Sereno were coming out, because he was using those two as the overlapping wing backs, whatever you want to call them. And I think he likes that Diaz-Gavardio combination because of the way Diaz can especially bring the ball out from the back. I think Kushnerov he's going to be an amazing defender, but I still need to see that ball playing centre back from him. Whereas
the Brazilian kid's better at coming out.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Kushnerov has sadly just been sort of negatively put in a circumstance where we've found a system that's worked, and it is working because we're 7 or 8 unbeaten, 4 wins on the bounce. It is clearly working.
Yeah.
And the one thing we're doing now is keeping clean sheets, which is something we were not doing for a long time. And not only that, I see it as a positive because everyone thinks the rebuild begins in the summer. The rebuild began in January. We are 6 months ahead of every other competitor in this league. Mamouche, Nico, Echeverri, whoever, they're 6 months ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say also that it's just a simple fact that Martin touched on it then. In the way we're playing right now, you make a choice. Are you playing Ruben Diaz or are you playing Kusanov? Now, whatever you may think about them as players, we all know the answer to that. It's Ruben Diaz because he's like a leader on the pitch and he's also occasionally wears the armband as well. Whereas Kusanov is a new signing, 20 years old. And that's because of Nico O'Reilly's got to play at left back because he's playing so well. That means Gvardiol has to play at left centre back because he's left footed. In this current system, the right back has to also be comfortable pushing up to the right wing. So you go left with one slot for Kusanov. So who are you picking, Kusanov or Diaz? And again, there's only one answer there.
Well, there's two further things. Firstly, there's the fact that Kusanov has actually come out. I don't believe it was himself that tweeted it, but he spoke to an Uzbeki journalist, and the journalist literally said exactly what you said there, Nobbins, that Kusanov gets exactly what you said there, but also the fact that when you're conceding as many goals as we were conceding between October and January, right? And then all of a sudden, go and look at the goals we've been conceding since Gvardiol and Diaz are a partnership, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you change that if Pep changes that, my head's gone, right?
Yeah, I'm worried about that because I'm worried that if Nico O'Reilly, I don't mind him changing it in a game if Nico's struggling, then get us through the game. But if Pep has one of them weird dreams and wakes up and thinks, no, Nico O'Reilly is not, he's now a midfielder and Guardiola's back at left back, I feel that that's a problem. But what I want to end it with, I just want to go around the panel, starting with Tony and then to Martin, to Nobbins and Daps. I want you to give me your young player of the year, City, and your player of the year, City.
The player of the year will be quick.
Let's start with the young player of the year first. So Tony, I'm going to go with you.
Oh my god. Young player of the year. How young do you have to be to have young players? Sorry to be a bit of a knob about it, but how old are we talking?
Probably going to be what, under 23, I'd say, under 23.
Don't be dropping down to the under 13s, Tone.
22 and under, just because otherwise you could say Gvardiol's both. So maybe go 22 and under.
That's what I was thinking.
You forget Gvardiol's only 23 as well.
So you've got to name two players there.
Didn't we have someone to do that? Didn't Foden win young and both player of the year one year?
Yeah, he might have.
Or am I dreaming that? I don't know.
He should have done, and Haaland should have done it as well. But for whatever reason, they gave it to Palmer and Saka those years.
So what are you saying, Tone?
Young player of the year. I'm just having a real quick, just to make sure I've not missed anyone.
Looking at the squad quick.
Fake fan. He can't even name a young player at City. That's crazy. Tone exposed in 480i. That's wild.
Well, I'm going to say it's Nico O'Reilly for me. I think
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, Nico O'Reilly. I don't think there's that much competition for it. Dare I say, young player of the year? I think Nico.
There's much competition on both.
Yeah, no, true doubts.
A young player of the year. I am probably going to go O'Reilly. I am.
Nobbins.
Young player of the year. I think for me, it's got to be Savio. I've been so impressed with him. It's also
that was the other one I was going to look at. Yeah.
It's his first season as well, and he's got a lot of hate for his not ability to finish or whatever. But he's one of our best. I think. In fact, I think he is objectively our best creator this year as well. So I think he's been wonderful. I'd go Savio.
I didn't think of that. I'll go O'Reilly because I just think, I know it's a small sample size, but he's played, I think, over 1,100 minutes now. More than John Stones, by the way, more than Nathan Nake. I think O'Reilly's been unreal. And every game I watch him, I know he wasn't as good against Wolves, but for me, it's O'Reilly, definitely.
And player of the year, Tone?
Gvardiol by quite some distance. I get the Kovacic shouts, but I don't think he's been anywhere near as good and consistent as Gvardiol by far and away.
Mine.
Gvardiol, 1,000%. It's got to be Gvardiol. Has to be.
Nobbins?
Yeah, I think that for a time it was Gvardiol or Haaland, but I think over the past month or so, where Haaland has been injured, Gvardiol's overtaken him. I think that he's been our most consistent player, and I think that his levels every single game are just insane. It's Gvardiol. I think he's world class.
What about you, Daps?
Yeah, bro, I'm the same. I think Haaland has kept going this season through some fucking hard times, and fair play to him. He's been ran into the ground as well. I think Kovacic has been very, very, very underrated. I think if you go back and look at when Kovacic was injured, you'll probably find that was our worst run of form. But for me, Gvardiol, left back, centre back, and he's just getting better because now he looks comfortable. He actually genuinely looks comfortable and happy. I think Gvardiol's been our best defender since he's joined us. And I think, Nobbins, I hear what you're saying now. We really are starting to see why we paid them. I mean, it's mad to think we bought a centre-back and now he's playing as centre-back. We're actually seeing just how good he is. But
can I ask a question without everyone blowing up right now?
No.
It's not about homegrown, is it?
No, I'm not. I'm calling off my homegrown thing. I'm going to be honest. I do think Núñez deserves a shout. I know that's going to sound crazy to many right now.
Martin, what's in that fucking cup you're drinking there?
I think he deserves a shout
you know
out.
What? No, Steve, honestly,
it's been okay, but don't forget, he ambushed Man United player in the box early in the season. Give a penalty.
Josko Gvardiol was involved.
No, but Martin,
Núñez with the player of the year.
Martin, you've got to think of the wording. I hear what you're saying. I've said this. Núñez deserves an honourable shout out for fucking
most improved. How about most improved?
Yeah, for most improved. For keep going, despite all the shit he's got, despite the fact 1 minute he's left wing, the next minute he's right back. Bro, he's not been best player of the season. Come on, that is mental.
Pep to basically tell him he's a fucking ding dong and he's not got the brain to play in midfield to become a right back. So I've got to give him credit for that because he has become a good right back.
But who was the guy putting all the assists in? Palace, the Haaland header. Sporting Lisbon, he was getting the assists. He was getting. He scored away at Tottenham. He was getting goals and assists.
Yeah, but
he also gave a penalty. He also did give away a penalty at Sporting.
Yeah, the derby was the killer.
In all honesty, name me a player this season that has not been an idiot.
Rodri.
You can't throw Rodri out.
Rodri hasn't put a foot wrong.
Kovacic, but again,
I feel like he's been thrown in the deep end. He's not got the players around him that obviously other players have had over the past years when they've had Rodri's and an informed Foden around him to help and get him out of the shit. He's had Ilkay Gundogan with him and Kevin De Bruyne, who was off the pace. But out of them three, Kovacic was the one that was picking the ball up, being brave, turning, getting us through the gaps. And the goals Kovacic is scoring, important goals as well. For me, I think he's up there with Gvardiol, the two Croatians. But it's a good debate because every season we always probably just pick one player and everyone agrees. So it's good
because no one's been that consistent this year. Steve, we're struggling.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah, by the way, I've got a question for you. I'll go.
By the way, we're struggling just quickly, we are struggling in third, which just to
we might be struggling and become runners up and win an FA Cup.
Yeah, and a Club World Cup.
Crisis.
No, but in all seriousness, do we see Rodri even on the bench in the next 2 or 3 games?
It scares me a little bit.
Pop him on the bench in the FA Cup so he gets a medal.
I'd love him to come on in the FA Cup final. We're beating Palace 3-0, and there's 1 minute to go, and they just strip him off, and he runs on the pitch, gets the biggest round of applause. We're singing the Rodri song. Then the ref blows the whistle. He goes up, gets his medal, and as long as no one puts him on his shoulders like Tony Adams did to Steve Morrow years ago, and he falls off and breaks his arm. Do you remember that?
I saw someone comment in one of his pictures. He's leaning on his knees, and someone put, "Don't lean on your knees too hard, Rodri."
you know this, Steve. He's been training now, full training for a couple of weeks. He's been training on his own for a few weeks before. And Pep said the minute that green light comes,
he's a madman, Rodri. But don't get me wrong, Rodri. He's around. He's
been back 6 months
like a bad fart. Every time Pep on the bench, Rodri's knocking around. It's like years ago when you played Sunday League. He always used to warm up near the manager, so he did. So he's senior. So you'd be doing your stretches in that near the gap, or you'd say, "Oh yeah, just finger that." And so he went, "Oh yeah, I forgot about him. I'll bring him on." But Rodri's doing the same.
My boss, I'm still here.
Yeah, he is. He is. Every time the team sheet's coming out, he's going, "Oh, am I on it? Fuck off!" But
Do you think? Oh, sorry, Dan.
The one thing I'd say is that we have to, and hopefully, right. I don't want to see Rodri until Champions League football is
until
secure.
December 2026.
No, until Champions League football is secure. Because I think one thing is, look, Pep is right, and anyone that said it, once he's deemed fit, he's deemed fit. And I'm very confident that not just our physios, but probably fucking Khaldoon and everyone else will be saying, when the physio says he's fit to play, Khaldoon will probably be saying, double check, make sure, triple check, yeah? We're not taking a risk. But once he is deemed fit to play, we can't expect that first game back, he's going to be match fit and his passing range is going to be the same. He's going to take a minute. And even if you are, passing the ball about in training, it's very different because you ain't got someone coming and potentially running their studs down the back of your ankle. So I want him to be able to come in slowly and not come in and kind of...
The first tackle that Rodri goes in for. It's going to be holding its breath. We're going to be like, no. But you know what? The sooner that happens and the sooner he goes into one and bounces back up, then we can all relax. It's if he starts,
you know what, Steve?
out a little bit,
he'll be Morgan Gibbs-White in pre-season. That doesn't.
Imagine that.
You know that City episode that's on the City thing on YouTube. They're going to have Rodri welcoming Morgan Gibbs-White into the building.
Hey, imagine Morgan Gibbs-White is really eager to impress and goes flying through him 2-footed. Fucking that.
It'd probably be fucking Nunes that do that. The bozo. Nunes that do it. And Martin will get cancelled for his opinion and they have to go.
By the way, yes, Alan. I said Nunes _ player of the season, kind of.
But anyway, people, listen.
Hold on, a couple of super chats, quick.
Go for it.
So first one said someone must have told Martin that Alan is watching for him to mention Nunes. Second one, by the way, Sam Lee on Athletic Pod said Wirtz deal is in the same position as Morgan Gibbs-White in terms of that. He'd be surprised if both didn't end up at City. And let's hope for that. The last one I just wanted to mention as well, it's not a super chat, Steve, but I know you've been keeping track on him. I saw he's still fucking flying over there. Do any of us think he's doing so much that we can't ignore him at this point? And that
he's got to go to the Club World Cup. He has to go to the Club World Cup.
I think it'd be great. But if he comes in, does that put Reyes back another or is he going to say, look, we've got Juma needs another year out because we've got Stonesy and everyone and Ake coming to the end and Akanji coming to the end. So next season might be the time for Juma to come in. Arsenal did it with Saliba. The amount of times the Arsenal fans were saying Saliba needs to come back, they kept him away, and then at the right moment they brought him in and it worked for them. So I think, although we did say he's looking forward to training with Man City, they might well have him training with us, but I feel like he might get another loan somewhere.
You reckon?
Like that?
Isn't Saliba going to Real? Isn't he going to Madrid apparently, Saliba?
Well,
I've seen rumours of that. I've seen little rumours. What Madrid have said is that that they are monitoring him, and if basically he doesn't sign a contract extension at Arsenal, they're ready to move whenever. Like if he puts in a transfer request, they're ready to pounce. So I wouldn't be surprised if next summer.
Daps, can I just say, I'll just quickly reverse back to Rodri, just quick. For the FA Cup, the only thing that makes me think he won't be in the squad is Pep always says stuff like the players that got us here, they will play. And with the goalkeeper and all that, he always does it. And that makes me think maybe Bournemouth on the Tuesday, I think we play, would maybe be more realistic to make the squad. I was just going to say that on Rodri.
I always remember that press conference about 2 weeks ago. I don't know if anyone saw it. He was talking about all the players coming back, Stones, Kanja, and then he turned to the camera. I don't know how he did it. And he went, "Don't forget Rodri," and winked at everyone. And I'm like, you're just... And he was like, purpose.
Fucking... no.
Right, people, listen. We're 1 hour in. Please hit the like button if you've not hit the like button. There's a lot of people in here that haven't hit the like button. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Hit the like. Leave a comment after this show. We'll try and get in the comments later and reply to everything. But other than that, people, Champions League tonight, Inter Milan, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain tomorrow, Arsenal. So there's a good week of football. And yeah, let's just keep the faith. Southampton at weekend and up the Blues. See you soon. Come on, City.
Come on, City.
End the stream, Dave.